We're going to take it up a notch. We're going to talk about our future, meaning you and I, and the future that we'll experience here on planet Earth, and not too much past that. But I want to talk about our future because that's what you're going to experience here. Now, I'm going to share something with you that's going to hopefully get you to think a little bit about this, because there's something really amazing about the future, the predictions, and the things that are being seen right now. And I'm going to share some of those things with you through very strange technology and, of course, our own intuition and abilities. And what does that next 20, 30 years look like? I'm going to discuss it because it's so amazing. And you can participate in it. It is actually a choice. So, you ready for this? I think you're going to really like it. I'm going to talk about that quantum field in a completely different way. You may not have heard this before. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an amazing life. Do you ever hear yourself talk? Do you ever pay attention to your own thoughts and actually think about what they're really creating? In other words, do you ever have judgment or criticisms, and maybe you are on spiritual channels and you don't even hear what you're really doing? Well, this goes on all the time. This is part of the discussion today, because without our consciousness, our attention to all of the things, the thoughts, the beliefs, the actions, we cannot achieve what I'm going to discuss with you right now that is achievable. All things are possible. All things are the one source. So there's no evil. I just asked some students, I said, so if these evil people over here that you're opposing and you're all obsessed about, if you believe everything is one, who do you think made them? I don't know. I said, no, come on, seriously. The devil? I said, well, then if the one, the source, made everything, then who made the devil? God? We don't take our thinking past that point where we limit ourselves, all right? And we're still hung up in this material world that's created of separation and good and evil and sides, and there's no such thing. It's self-created, and it's all part of an experience. We are purposefully doing all of this. Now, we can purposefully, because this is how we win the illusional game, come back together as one whole. That is our origination, that is what we are, and everything else is the illusion that is very painful. We're going through that right now, and we have a turning point. Now, I'm going to talk about some technology out there that is very strange. In fact, the first time I heard about it was last night, and I was just fascinated because I'm really into science, but I personally believe that most of the stuff you hear out there is completely made up. I mean, completely made up. And of course, it's just as real for the believers as anybody else, so the illusion can be real. Especially if you believe it, it's real, right? And nobody can tell you different, even if you haven't actually seen the things that you believe in, the technology, the underground worlds, the whatever. If you haven't seen them and you believe it, in your mind, it exists, and therefore it does. Now, the reason I say this is because there are no limits to realities, and it doesn't have to be in a physical world that we identify with, because everything out there in the multiverse, unlimited multiverse, is living in completely different lives and experiences and bodies and forms and energy fields than we are. It's just nonstop, unlimited, and we can't fathom that. So we like to put everything in a box, including names. And then, of course, I'm spiritual, but no, I'm not going to accept somebody who dresses differently. It's really insanity, isn't it? The majority of the planet is in insanity. Now, here's the good news. There's technology supposedly out there, and let's say this is real, where from ancient aliens or whomever who have left it here, where you can actually go in and see the future. All right, it's some kind of a mirror type of technology, mirror type technology. In other words, we're seeing our own selves in a different timeline. Well, timelines exist differently outside of our bodies. There's no such thing as time. We are on linear time here. What we don't understand is that when we step outside the physical dense world, timelines are just more of a circle. We can go forward and backward. Now, there are supposedly beings here on the planet. I'm pretty open to this one. I'm pretty open. That are here to help us change that future that has been very destructive for them. So, are they able to do that? Because they're not supposed to infringe on free will. Yes, absolutely. As long as we're still making our own choices, they can come back and assist or present certain situations, and we have free will to choose it or not. So they don't control our choices. They just present new opportunities for a new future. All right? Now, what is this, let's say this mirror technology where you can actually go in and see things? It changes constantly. It changes constantly. So I want to share something with you right now. That even if this supposed machine exists where you could go in and see the future, it's not necessary. I mean, we still believe that there has to be a machine that does that, or the collider that has to create something, and we are actually the essence of something so beyond that. You do control the future, and no matter what you see, you can actually create it now through your own vision. The majority of people are, acting in insanity of the material world right now. It only takes a minority to change the collective experience. You have an individual experience here. You get to choose that. And we, as with our contribution as individuals, supposed individuals, the experience of that, create a collective experience. It's part of the soul group that we all came here to say, we as a collective have our own individual journeys and choices, and so we have to contribute individually to create our collective experience, and so that's part of the illusion game. There is no future that is in stone. The next 20 to 30 years absolutely can change completely. Now, here's what is required of that. There's no technology or machine or psychic or remote viewer who have said over and over again it's not in stone, and every remote viewer or psychic has different views of the future, including Nostradamus and all these guys. I've said this many times before, because it changes every moment with your thought. So if the collective is placing a dropper of blue into the ocean, your one dropper of red changes the entire mix. Even if you can't see it, it still is a red dropper in all the blue. It affects everything. One dropper. So it doesn't take a lot of people to change the trajectory of our planets, let's just say our future. All right? Now, I want to share something with you because this is critical. You're so powerful, you are the walking machine that creates everything, okay? You don't need a room, a psychic, you need nothing. You are the thought process. So whatever anybody tells you, it's because you believe you're not creating it. It is critical for you to understand you're creating it, and that everyone is an equal creator. These things you shall do, and more, ye are all gods. And we have to start believing that if we want to take control of that future, instead of fearing it and reading stuff and all this other stuff that is really handing our power over to those who know that they do control the future. And if they can get us to focus on the negativity, we actually help create it. So the more media, the more commercials, the more negative shows that show a really nasty future, and the good and the bad, evil, all playing it out. All of that is to get you to focus on the negativity to help create it. Because those people who would even put that propaganda out there or negativity still are very much material based and believe that they need to, have a stronghold on that. They still believe in that lower density way of living. And they believe that if they don't, convince the collective to go into that negative space, that they lose their power. So that's how dense they are in their thinking. All right, so they really believe that somehow that they're going to lose control, that there's not really that higher power. They believe it, but they believe it is a separate entity to them. So I want you to know something. Right now, you are the absolute creator of everything with a thought, and absolutely everything you focus on either contributes to that negative future that changes at every split second. The future of our planet in the next 20 to 30 years, there will be massive changes that could go in a tipping point way of very positive. So when you hear about the things that happen, regarding our financial industry and all that stuff, we can actually tip it to a very positive way so that the entire world, if not starting with the United States, because I know most of my viewers are here in the U.S., could work very much in your favor as a collective society versus the individual, where the power and pleasures of world are skewed. That is not a bad thing. Don't fear it, and you will be told to fear it. Why? Because fear keeps you in the negative space of density. Anything that tells you that somebody else is wrong, or they are living the life a different way to you, that it's wrong, it's propaganda to keep you in fear and separation, and it keeps you in the lower frequency, the opposite of the one. The one created that very person that you think is wrong. Okay, it's wrong. Well, guess what's more wrong than pointing fingers? Judgment. You're of the lowest frequency when you go into that, because that's pure separation, and it's the total opposite of oneness. And oneness, of course, as I just did a video, is the ultimate enlightenment. You got to hold fast, remain steadfast in this. So those time machines, all these things, they just show you a probability, not the future. It is endless, and it is open for us to change, and we can have the most amazing final outcome. And you as an individual don't have to experience the struggle and the pain of the collective insanity. You can go into a space and a reality through your frequency where you see the world differently and you think differently, and all of a sudden you have no fear, and you realize that this is just a very short period of linear time in an illusion, and of which you're here to evolve. You're here to do some amazing things, and it's a real challenge. It's a master class, so get busy. So if you read anything about these mirror technologies and all these other things, they actually don't show us anything other than what we're thinking. So what we must do is just focus on where your thinking is going. Right now, I'm going to tell you how to do this. You focus on the future you desire. You focus on it. You focus on it. You're aware of the other, and you have what I call zero tolerance for it. And through zero tolerance, you create a new world of unbelievable triumph, collaboration, compassion, empathy, and solutions, creativity, expansion. And if you focus on that, I guarantee you your life will start to change. All right, people have had amazing results from my training. If you'd like a free videos, you can go into Manifest Anything. You get a free mobile app called What Am I Manifesting? And it helps you to monitor those thoughts. What am I manifesting? That's your future. That's yours, and you're contributing to mine. I also have a free masterclass called Breakthrough Fear to Manifest an Amazing Life That You Desire, 4 proven steps. And then you can have a discovery call with me if you desire to take that training further, and we can talk about possibly working together. I don't take every student. Please subscribe, because I want to spread the positive word that you're in control. Nobody's doing it to you. You don't have to participate in anything you don't desire. You have to be the change to see the change. It's real simple. Ye are all gods. You're whole and perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.